I spent a lot of time working with the four major productivity tools, and I did it through the lens of small business productivity, security, and costs so that you don't have to. And this is what I found. My industry is rife with acronyms, jargon, and the next buzzword. 10 years ago, it was cloud. You'd hear it everywhere. Everybody had a cloud offering, and now it's AI. Everything is AI. There's a lot of noise out there about which one's better, who's got what release, what is each good at, and I'm going to cut through all that noise and give you a breakdown of why you might want to use Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini. I'm going to approach my reviews here on three things. Productivity, what can it do for you? Security, does using one of these tools open up your organization to data loss or security breaches? And how much does it cost your organization? A little note here, all of my reviews are done on the paid versions of these products. I paid so you don't have to. There's a lot of reasons to use the paid versions as opposed to the free, but the main one is that you want to have the additional assurances that they're not going to use your data to train the model or share it with someone else. If you aren't paying for the product, then you are the product, meaning they're collecting data on you and they're going to resell it somehow. That's just been the nature of the internet for several years now. If you're considering Gemini seriously, it's probably because you're already a Google Workspace user, and rightly so. This is the one for you if that's your ecosystem. Gemini ties directly into the Google Workspace. It has what they call gems, which are agents or bots that can create and run against your data in your environment there. At the time of recording this, Gemini is still more in its chatty phase. It's good at rewriting emails or summarizing long conversations and taking notes in Google Meet, but it doesn't feel as though they are as fully fleshed out as an agentic AI yet. There's still a lot of room for growth here. Google's roadmap does describe agents as being the major focus in the next 6 to 12 months. But at the moment, they're probably a little bit behind the game of OpenAI, Microsoft, and Anthropic. They're also working on tighter integration within their Sheets and Docs apps so that Gemini will be able to directly access data within those files with your permission, of course. Just as Gemini is the AI tool to use if you're on the Google Workspace, Copilot is the most integrated tool to use if you're in the Microsoft environment. We've done a bunch of videos on this channel about how Copilot is essentially a Microsoft chassis around an OpenAI engine. Microsoft has reached agreements with both Anthropic and OpenAI about using their engines in a tuned scenario. For example, by default, Microsoft uses what is called Azure OpenAI. This is a ChatGPT engine essentially inside of the Microsoft environment that is bound by the restrictions and policies of Microsoft's tenancy, which is a good thing. When ChatGPT releases their 5.2 version of the engine, Microsoft follows suit within 22 minutes, meaning that they're really releasing on OpenAI's schedule. They're very closely tied in development. Microsoft is developing their AI systems at a breakneck pace at the moment. They have a full ecosystem around building agents called Copilot Studio. They're working on tightening the integration into their Office applications, which is already very ingrained. You can already use Copilot to help you create documents, Excel spreadsheets, and PowerPoint presentations from right within the application. Microsoft's vision for the next 12 months is to allow people to create agents that become like coworkers in your environment, performing simple and repetitive tasks for you automatically. If you are going to license your users with Copilot, though, be aware that you do want to be very careful about your document structure and security rights before assigning those licenses, because as soon as you give a user a Copilot license, you're giving them an AI robot that can go out and search your entire document structure. Any search such as "show me the executive compensation" potentially opens up Pandora's box. If you're not careful and you've got something you forgot about in your HR folder from 2020 that shouldn't be accessible, but is, Copilot will find it. AGI is the acronym that the industry is throwing around for artificial general intelligence, and ChatGPT is arguably the best at this general aspect. It's unbound by systems, so it doesn't care whether you're on Google or Microsoft. It's good at creating marketing copy, helping you write, brainstorming ideas, creating basic images, and has the ability to create simple agents that run repetitive tasks for you. On the paid business plan, you can attach it to your Google Workspace or SharePoint environment, but it is a little more complicated to set up than either of the previous options. From a security perspective, you can set it up to have single sign-on with those other environments, either your Google login or your Microsoft login. And again, on that business plan, they do give assurances that they're not using your data to train their model. If you're looking for a general purpose AI tool, ChatGPT might be the one for you, but I will warn against copying your sensitive data into free editions of any AI tool. And if you're not sure whether or not your staff are already using it, that's something you're going to want to get a handle on as well. Claude is a very interesting tool. Founded by 5 people who left OpenAI because of security and direction concerns, Claude was designed to be a more thoughtful, intentional artificial general intelligence. But as the AI arms race has taken a hold, Anthropic has been forced to move forward at a very quick pace, just like everybody else, in order to remain relevant. They've found some specialties in coding, and they generally excel at long documents, detailed policy analysis, and following instructions carefully and methodically. Claude could also be considered the calmest and safest thinker of the group of these applications, with the least amount of hallucinations. As of September 2025, Claude became available in Microsoft Copilot as one of the options within the researcher agent in certain regions. But it is very important to note that if you use Claude inside of Copilot, the models are hosted outside of Microsoft's environment. So the same safeties that are included when using Copilot with Azure OpenAI are not there if you switch to Claude. So here's my recommendation. If you're on Google Workspace, use Gemini. If you're on Microsoft 365, use Copilot. If you're open and you just want generalized thinking that's quick and covers a wide array of topics, ChatGPT. If you have specialty in coding or need careful, detailed policy analysis, Claude is your agent. Cost-wise, they're all very similar in that $25 to $35 per user per month range. If you're concerned about security, though, stay with the AI agent that is within your ecosystem. In this ever-changing IT landscape, be active. We'll see you next time.